What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark, MacMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today, this is How to Train Your Dragon 2. Folie à deux. Actually, this one is not a folie à deux. This one is actually really good. So, click like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'm a blind film critic. I sit here on YouTube. I do a lot of movie reviews, TV reviews, other random movie thoughts and rankings and awards talk and all that kind of stuff. Where everyone else claims that they go into things blind, I actually literally go into things blind, and a lot of times end up talking about audio description in cinema or what the lack thereof caused me to interpret out of the movie. With How to Train Your Dragon 2, this is actually like a rewatch. I've seen this film a couple of times, and I'm going to put this into my Desert Island movies like I did yesterday with How to Train Your Dragon, the original one. I think these top two, definitely I've seen them more than enough times to where the beats are starting to feel familiar for me. It's just my way of saying that these are comfort films. So if I'm vibing with you, then you want to join my cult following here on YouTube. Anyway, everybody basically returned for this one. We've got Jay Baruchel, America Ferreira, Gerard Butler, Ferguson, Jonah Hill, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, TJ Miller, Kristin Wiig, all came back for this movie. And they added, for good measure, they went out and got themselves a couple more big names with Cate Blanchett, Djimon Hounsou, and Kit Harrington joining the voice cast. So, since they're making this one into a sequel as well, I may end up talking about this one again in 2 years. When Dean DeBois, who directed the original trilogy and directed the live-action remake, is set to also continue to direct this franchise. You know what? There is that phrase, if it ain't broke. So, but I have a feeling that it's going to be a lot like what I just experienced, and check out my reviews of the animated How to Train Your Dragon and the live action How to Train Your Dragon that I posted yesterday at the same time. I have a feeling it's gonna be a little bit like that, where even if the film is perfect and like lines up, I'm still gonna be a little bit just held back, and at the end of the day I'm still gonna want to choose the animated one because like that was the first thing and that was my favorite thing, because that's how I felt after watching the other two. It's like the live action one is great. It checks all the boxes. So I don't know how the sequel could possibly, because it seems like Dean DeBois is really much interested in following the formula. So I feel like everything's just going to follow beat for beat. So in this film, Hiccup has successfully tamed his community of Vikings into dragon riders, and now they do dragon racing, and they have explored because it's easier to fly on a dragon and explore the lands, and their reach and their community and everything is stronger as a result because now they're working with the dragons instead of against them and killing them, and they all have their own pet dragon that's theirs to ride, including Stoic, which is, I mean, he's killed so many dragons, it's weird to think that he's got his own, but but he does, and as does everybody else, and they'll have their own now. Before, basically, it was just Toothless, and then they kind of grabbed the dragons they had to run off, so it's nice to see them sort of bonded with all of their dragons, all of the other supporting characters. So what ends up happening is while they're out, they find these dragon trappers, which are linked to this evil Viking who's creating a dragon army. Oh no. Of course, Hiccup, in all of his infinite just complete like, all I have to do is talk to him. He just wants to talk. That's all he wants. This crazy dude who's collecting dragons. He just really wants to talk. So against his father's wishes, he flies off to try to talk with the evil pirate. But in the process, he ends up finding something else, which is that they've hinted at that there's this other dragon that's flying around that has ice powers, and it's been blasting the troops, and they think that Hiccup is with them, but he's not. Or is he? The big reveal being that character is Cate Blanchett. Mwah. And she's Hiccup's mother. Oh my God, Becky. So, yeah, this feels like the most natural progression for How to Train Your Dragon 2, which is on every front. Introduce a character that feels like that they should have been there the whole time, who is sort of like a little bit of a mirror to one of the characters that already exists, and their experiences. So she's already friends with dragons. So she is what Hiccup was, even though they were separated. So she's more of like a mirror to Stoic. So what you get is you get to see Hiccup and Stoic and sort of their personalities. Hiccup's personality is the same, which matches his mother. And you get to see Stoic, who was against dragons and is now for dragons. And I guess that's drove a wedge between them before, but now it won't drive a wedge between them. It reminds me a little bit of like the Woody Jesse dynamic in Toy Story, in that Woody has had this great relationship as a toy, so he has like one thought process, and meanwhile Jesse has had this extremely PTSD inducing backstory, backed by one of the saddest songs in Disney history. So when you have these two sort of like contrasting figures, it's interesting to see the fact that Stoic is he's in a completely different place now, and he's ready to be the husband that he never was. Unfortunately, this film's not going to let him do that for very long. But he does have one really great moment that I love, where he's just like, she's talking and he's just is like captivated in her, and just walks up and kisses her, and just so happy to see her. Like, it's like all the bad blood, all of the years missing and everything. The fact that she never came home or anything like that is just all like just gone. It's a very nice moment. I have a heart. So yeah, it leads, of course, it's going to lead to a battle, but the dragons, and it deals more with the alphas that we taught a little bit in the first movie. They had to defeat that alpha that was out there, that had all the dragons, and they had to go capture the food and take it to the alpha. That's what they were doing in the first movie. They're all just like misunderstood. Well, now we have more alphas, but Cate Blanchett has her own alpha, which is the thing that blasts ice. So it's interesting that she trained an alpha. And yeah, we end up seeing, the other guy's got an alpha, and voiced by Djimon Hounsou. And Kit Harrington plays this character that's like one of the trappers, but he's one of those people who like has their minds changed, their hearts changed. They can be good if you just give them the chance. We always need one of those characters, because basically that's what we had in the first movie. Stoic can learn to not kill dragons. So Eric can do the same. Like, it's repeating. I'm telling you, this is like the perfect follow-up. This is everything it needed to be. It doesn't feel like it's the sequel where you're like, oh, why did we make a sequel? Because we have those too. We have the ones where it's like, I don't know why we're here. Like, there's no logical progression in story. I'm gonna go ahead and check Cars 2 as being that, where you're like, okay, this has nothing to do with the first movie. Why are we here? This tonally isn't even close. This makes no sense. I don't understand you. And then there are some movies that, while they make sense, they just, I don't know, they just can't quite capture that feeling of the original, sort of like Finding Dory. And some sequels, I think, actually ended up beating the original. Like, I actually like Toy Story 2 more than Toy Story 1. I like Shrek 2 more than Shrek 1. So some movies they take and build. How to Train Your Dragon 2, I think, is actually pretty even. I think it's one of those sort of like lateral moves I think the first one was great, the second one's great. I would give them the same grade, and I would take them both to a desert island with me so that I could watch, like, at least the two films back to back. The third film has sort of like the same problem, which I'll get to when I review Hidden World, of Toy Story 3, which is, okay, so we've done both things. Buzz rescue, we've done Woody rescuing Buzz, Buzz rescuing Woody, we introduced Jessie. What else could we do with this story? And can you thread that needle? And you'll find out when I review that. But for right now, I want to talk about the audio description for this, which is wonderful. It's aimed at sort of families, like it's sort of broad. It's a nice, light female voice. I didn't catch the narrator, I'm sorry. But yeah, it feels like the kind of thing that would engage kids. It doesn't feel like it's the kind of thing that feels that, you know, they've accidentally put on a headphone for adults. Sometimes we don't take a lot of consideration. I've heard too many kids' films that have the same sort of like adult narrators on them that aren't even trying to do anything with their voice. And it's like, you guys work in other films that are mainly for adults, but for films that are aimed at kids, which honestly, this is adapted from a book series that's aimed at like elementary school children, maybe middle schoolers, if your middle schooler's like behind in reading. Sorry. But hot take. Yeah, like Diary of a Wimpy Kid and How to Train Your Dragon, your kids should be moving up out of those by the time they hit like the 6th grade. So, yeah, I mean, they can still read them. I read Goosebumps all the way through middle school, but I was reading other things. It's just a franchise I couldn't quit. Can't stop, won't stop. So, yeah, if you remember that the fact that this is primarily a family franchise aimed at kids, then yeah, the audio description voice is perfect. It's not so belittling that that adults will find it like ingrating. The description is good. The fight scenes, the battle sequences, the different dragons and all the little babies hopping around in the alphas, everything looks really good. From what I can sort of translate from having, again, seen this movie before and then watching it, this is my first time with audio description, when you put those two together, yeah, I think what I remember, the memories that are stuck in my brain, merged with the audio description to create an experience where I was like, yeah, I feel like that was solid. I feel like that returned a lot of the visuals that I remembered and was used to, and helped highlight a lot of the beats. You know, a lot of things that you have to focus on, including Toothless's eyes when he's like zombified or entranced, whatever you want to say, versus when he's not. It becomes like a huge plot point. So, and of course, the cool action sequences, which can't wait to see those in live action. I mean, that's like the whole purpose. And I think that's the thing, is that for me as a blind person, the gimmick of translating these things into live action is sort of lost. So it becomes, I'm still listening to voice actors. I'm still listening to voice performances. It's the story, but the story is the same. So why would I choose the new thing? You know, is the new thing so inherently better than the old thing that I'm used to and I've already seen a bunch of times that I would choose the new thing? And I don't know. We'll find out when How to Train Your Dragon 2 opens, apparently, in 2027. So that could be optimistic. It might be 2028, but I honestly think I think Universal had it primed and ready to go, and we're just waiting on like an opening weekend so they could just start filming, because they're working with kids, and the longer you wait, the older they look. And you can do it in animation because you can wait forever, because honestly, when Jay Baruchel was narrating in 2010, the voice of Hiccup, he already was not a kid and wouldn't have looked like one on screen. And certainly by the time the franchise ran out, he definitely would not have looked like a kid. Neither would America Ferreira. You know, I mean, like, these people would not have looked like kids by the third film. So they're trying to get through the franchise in a timely manner so that Mason Thames, Nico Parker, and the rest of them actually still look young. If they wait 3 to 4 years between the movies, they're going to be... Mason Thames will be like 30 by the time they do the third film. And it's just not going to have the same effect. So, yeah, they cast perfectly, and they're just trying to make it work for them. I'm excited to see the second film because I liked the live action first film. Its only sin is that it's not the original. It's just that I want the original thing that I had. You know, I want that thing that I liked before. So it's like having, you know, you've got a great baseball cap, right? And maybe you can get a new one and it's shiny and new and it's the same thing, but you broke in the old one and you have memories with the old one or something like that. And it's technically the same hat. So some people will choose the new one because it's shiny and fresh and clean, but a lot of people are going to keep wearing the old one because, yeah, memories. So I'm going to give How to Train Your Dragon 2 an A+. This is, after all, a desert island film. And that just means that, for me, these are the comfort films. These are the films that make me happy. These are the films that I would watch on a rainy day, sad day, if I'm depressed. These are the films that make me happy. These are the films that if I can only watch like a subset of films, you know, new films were not being delivered to me, and I had to choose from a list, and I could pick this one would be on the list. So I don't have a number. I may have to cut down my own list. I do like a lot of movies. I got into this because I like movies, not because I wanted to like yell at them. Some people seem like they're only on here so that they can yell at movies and tell movies how bad they are. And that's kind of why I got into film criticism as a kid, was I felt like everybody just hated everything. And I was like, why are you even here? Do you not like the medium of film? Do you not understand that you can have something that is both artistically perfect, but also something that is just fun and entertaining and works? And both of those things can be good because they're trying to do two totally different things. Yeah. Anyway, I think this achieves everything it set out to do. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I will see you guys on the other side.